In the world of weather, there's really not a whole lot to write home about besides these hot temperatures. Temperatures went into the triple digits going into the weekend. So it's kind of a good time now to put it out there saying, like, keep an eye on those heat-related illnesses because they happen pretty often in the early start when the first real hot days get there.
That's right. I am a bit surprised we don't have any heat alerts in place yet from the National Weather Service. That's not to say they might not be issued in the next couple of days, but speaking about heat-related illnesses, that's why those heat alerts are typically issued. And as we are going to be looking at temperatures potentially in the triple digits about 20 degrees sooner than average, I am just a bit surprised that those haven't been issued yet, but they might be coming in the next several days, and we will certainly alert you as appropriate. Now, as we wake up this morning in Yakima, to Dave's point, not too much to write home about today. It is going to be a pleasant day of weather in Yakima. Look for highs into the mid-80s today. You can already see the sunshine, and the sunshine will stick around through the day. For the Tri-Cities, also seeing those blue skies right now, and blue skies will be sticking around for the course of this Thursday. Looking at our weather headlines quickly, we are going to be looking at the warming trend starting today. Summer-like afternoons for the weekend with 90s and potential low 100s, and then temperatures will remain rather hot for next week. We'll talk more about these three weather headlines coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Kittitas County. An Ellensburg man accused of holding a woman hostage in his hotel room in Cle Elum accepted a plea deal for reduced charges. Rodrigo Enrique Robles was previously charged with unlawful imprisonment and fourth-degree assault. According to court documents, a woman called the Cle Elum Rosalind Police Department just after 6 p.m. on April 5th from a Safeway and said she was assaulted 3 hours earlier at a nearby hotel by a man she had just met, and he refused to let her leave. She said she met Robles a couple weeks earlier at an Ellensburg laundromat. She went to his hotel room, and when he refused to let her leave, he pushed her with his fists, and she fell to the ground and only escaped after she began yelling for help. A settlement is reached for a lawsuit against the city of Granger and the police department over allegations of sexual assault by an officer. The lawsuit was filed in May of 2024 following a judge granting a 10-year sexual assault protection order against Officer Glenn Trejo. The lawsuit claims Trejo sexually assaulted the plaintiff repeatedly for more than a year while on duty. The suit also claims Granger city leaders tried to cover up Trejo's misconduct to prevent it from becoming public. The city of Granger and the police department agreed to pay $700,000 to settle the lawsuit. Trejo was removed from his position and is no longer with the police department. Two people from the Tri-Cities are facing time in prison for their roles in COVID relief fraud. Prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office of Eastern Washington say David Kurt Schneider of Kennewick, Leif Gerald Larson of Pasco, and Kelly Joe Driver of South Carolina submitted funding applications in the name of several LLCs owned by Larson and Schneider. Driver then created fraudulent payroll and tax forms. In total, the three were able to get $292,000 in CARES Act funding and were trying to get more than $500,000 more. Schneider has been sentenced to 12 months in prison. Driver was sentenced to 5 years probation, while Larson is scheduled to be sentenced July 30th. Leaders of drug treatment and mental health programs across the country are worried President Donald Trump's budget proposal could mean their funding could be drastically reduced, which could disrupt their efforts to prevent young people from using drugs. The cuts would primarily affect smaller community-based initiatives such as youth mentoring and substance abuse prevention programs.
Addiction is an adolescent disease. 90% of people who go to treatment as young adults and adults started using substances as a teenager. So closing the border and the flow of fentanyl is not going to correct the demand side, which a lot of these youth have adverse childhood experiences.
While some organizations have gotten the funding they need, others in the Yakima Valley may be more vulnerable if the budget is passed.
Preventionists go in and we introduce these elevated risk youth to protective factors. If we don't have federal funding for these programs, they go away and the substance use increases exponentially.
Local leaders encourage you to reach out to our federal lawmakers to express your concerns and advocate for continued support of prevention services. Franklin County commissioners voted yesterday to pass a proclamation declaring the county as a non-sanctuary jurisdiction. The vote comes after almost all counties in Washington state were labeled as sanctuary counties, including Benton. The Trump administration has threatened to withhold funding from those counties.
Franklin County hereby expresses its appreciation and support for the efforts and policies of the administration that are directed towards enhancing national security, securing the nation's borders, supporting law enforcement, promoting economic growth, and upholding the consistent enforcement of federal laws.
Now, the proclamation also read that they will cooperate with federal authorities as permitted by law. State law, though, prohibits local law enforcement from helping federal agents with deportations. The Union Gap Police Chief Gregory Cobb has officially retired, according to the department's Facebook page. Cobb served the community for 27 years, including 13 as chief. While the department expressed sadness at his departure, they also noted he's not going far. Cobb is stepping into a new role as city manager. A public celebration is planned for June 11th from 1 to 3 p.m. at City Hall Council Chambers. We reached out to Union Gap for comment on Cobb's new appointment, but have yet to hear back. Plans for a new children's museum in the Tri-Cities are underway after getting $1 million in funding. Now, you might know the Mid-Columbia Children's Museum from their local pop-up events. They're now working on finding a space to have a variety of exhibits for children after several donors contributed to the fund to get it started. They've recognized the need for a children's museum after realizing there hadn't been one here for several years.
And educating the community about what it is that we do in our industries here is really important, making sure that people know what your neighbor does, what your dad does, what your mom does, what your aunt or uncle does. Having that ability to bring it into town, into a children's museum, make it user-friendly, make it, at the education level of a child.
Once a location is found, they hope to begin work on the new Children's Museum by early next year. And Yakima Federal Savings and Loan is helping young people further their education. More than $167,000 in scholarship money has been given to students and schools in Yakima, Kittitas, Benton, and Franklin counties. 60 graduating high school students each received $2,500, while an additional $17,500 in grant money was awarded to 7 local post-secondary institutions for scholarship programs. A complete list of scholarship recipients is up on our website, KIMATV.com. This weekend, Heritage University is hosting their annual Bounty of the Valley Scholarship Dinner. Last year, they received $1.1 million for scholarships at the event. Now, there are some changes this year. There are 2 locations, one in Toppenish and another in Seattle, where there will be alumni west of the mountains participating in the dinner. Diners in Toppenish will also be able to tour the Catherine Ross Center, where renovations are set to be completed on Friday.
Not only is there a lot of new things, but we've got a lot of new staff members this year. And so it's been a bit of a learning curve for all of them, but they've really thrown their shoulders to the wheel to make sure this thing is going to happen, and with seamless attention to detail.
Tickets to the event are sold out, but you can watch it online. The link will be up on our website, KIMATV.com. And graduating seniors from Wapto High School are carrying on a tradition that encourages younger students to work hard in school and get that diploma. It's a tradition these soon-to-be graduates have seen since they were in 2nd grade. KIMA's John Franklin takes us to the graduate parade.
It really doesn't feel real, but I'm super proud because I hope I could show these kids that they can take this next step and they will get there one day.
We take all of our seniors that are graduating and kind of do a graduation, what we call our graduation walk, where they get to go through all of the different buildings here in the district, the elementary schools they went to, the middle school, through the high school hallways, just to kind of celebrate them reaching that milestone of graduation.
This tradition has been going on for 10 years and can be considered a full circle moment, as many of these students remember when they were younger, watching seniors walk through their hallways and looking up to them.
It brings a lot of emotions, and it's really a surreal moment because being in elementary, I got to see graduates walking, and it doesn't feel real, but I'm really excited, and it means a lot to me to show that this is the next step that these kids will take.
The graduation parade is not just for the high school, but for the whole Wapto school district.
It is great on so many levels. You know, for our kids, our seniors, they get to go see the teachers they had in 2nd grade and 3rd grade. They get to go see little cousin, little brother, little sister.
It really does take a whole pack to do this, and I really thank everybody for it, yeah.
And then for the younger kids, it's really a kind of a motivation thing. Hey, look, these kids are graduating. They look up, the smiles on the faces. They make posters for our kids to congratulate them. It just kind of reminds them of where we want them to be, when it's their turn to graduate.
Some advice that I would give them is to make sure to stay on top of your grades. That really does affect you. Even when applying to colleges or anything, you need to stay on top of your grades. Even though you think it doesn't matter, it will matter in the long run.
For Action News,
Go Wolves!
I'm John Franklin.
KMA's John Franklin, thank you. What a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wapto does graduate today, so congratulations to all the Wapto graduates and all graduates who graduate today and through the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the weekend, it's going to be hot for it, too. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to want to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I would say that today is going to be a more pleasant day to graduate. Those gowns are pretty warm at times, and we are going to be looking at some warm temperatures today, but downright hot temperatures this weekend. In Yakima for today, as we look at your day planner, we will be looking at high temperatures climbing into the upper 80s today underneath sunny skies. We will see more sunshine in the Tri-Cities as well, as high temperatures are going to be cresting. That should also say upper 80s, so my apologies for that. It's going to be 88 degrees for a high in the Tri-Cities today, but still keeping those sunny skies. Now, what I will say is that as we go through the weekend, temperatures are going to be turning very hot, as we already referenced.